Hello, hello. How is everyone doing tonight? Ooh, streaming is very nerve-wracking. I don't know how people do this. Then we'll get the keyboard box. As mentioned, the keyboard I'll be building tonight is the Mode 80 10 keyless keyboard, and the not the group buy, the pre-order price for this keyboard was $480, which is pretty expensive. But what I appreciate about the way that Mo handled it was that it was a pre-order, so meaning that unlike in group buys where the manufacturing process starts after the money is collected, Mode already kicked off the process and was just essentially just doing pre-order. So I appreciate that because you get a keyboard a lot faster and there's a little bit less risk. And this is definitely like one of the fanciest keyboards I have unboxed. It comes to this really nice case. It comes in this pretty nice case. I wasn't expecting for it to come with a carrying case. It has a nice little handle on top here, but that's not what we're here for. So let me open it up. Alright, so you get a clean microfiber cloth with the Mode logo on there. And wow, I've never had a keyboard come shrink wrapped in plastic. This is a whole new experience for me. This is the Celestial colorway, so it's a white top with a accent gold bottom piece here. Okay, let me get some first impressions on this here. So this is an E-white finish on the top piece, and it looks really good. Looks like it's held together by 3 screws on the bottom. And this is what the side profile looks like. So it actually has a seamless side profile here. This is really nice. So it has a what Mo call a stack mount system for the plate, and I'll go more into that a little bit, which I think is pretty interesting. Put this out of the way here. What also impressed me was that all of the extra bits come nicely wrapped in these bags here. I thought this was kind of excessive, but it's really nice. So you have the aluminum plate here, which is what the stock kit comes with. There's also the JST connector and and it also gives you the hex screws and Allen wrench. I never built a keyboard with a JST connector before, so that'll be something new for me. Oh, you had the bottom feeds here. We should definitely install the bottom feeds in just a second. This is the middle gasket between the plate and the PCB. We got the solder PCB. We'll be using the solder PCB today, and oh wait, nope, sorry. This is the middle gasket. What did I just throw away? They both, okay, I'll figure it out in a bit. This is the bottom gasket, and you do need this to build the keyboard due to the stack mount design. And then these are all extra bits I bought. So I bought an extra hot swap PCB, and also with the gaskets on there. Oh yeah, sorry, I bought a palm plate extra. That's what this is. So I'll be building it with the palm plate instead of the aluminum plate. I'm gonna install the feet first before I totally forget. Very carefully, and then use your fingers to push down along like this. And it's sticking out a little bit here, so I'm gonna take it off and redo it. I think that one's better. And then apply some pressure. Huh, it's still a little bit long. What am I doing wrong? I wonder if it got stretched. This one does look a little bit longer. Okay, let me try to be more careful with this one here. And then with the other one, maybe I don't know, cut it or something, or buy some extras. And just gently pressing it over. Okay, that one fit a lot better. 1 feet for now is fine. Let's open up this first package here. So this is the JST connector. So this is the daughter board. So essentially, in case you didn't know, a lot of PCBs, they have the USB-C connection on the PCB itself. But for this keyboard and a lot of like high-end customs, the USB-C connection is separate from the PCB. So you can see that there's a little hole here where the JST connector essentially goes. And the reason why keyboard designers do that is due to different plate mounting systems. So with this stack mount, which I'll go into more detail to later, as you're typing, you can compress the plate and PCB up and down, so that can move the connections. By having the USB connection be separate, it resolves that issue. And this is the aluminum plate, and I'm not going to be using it. So the aluminum plate that comes with this keyboard will be anodized in the same accent color as your keyboard. So in my case, it's gold. I wanted to show you these gaskets here. So on the metal plates with this keyboard, which is the aluminum and brass plates, they have these gaskets around the plate here. And the reason why they're there is because it prevents metal on metal contact due to the mounting system. But we're not going to be using this aluminum plate, so I'm just going to put it back. Why don't I show you the actual plate that I'll be using? This is a palm plate. So I'm not used to how like flexible this is. This is like extremely bendy. Oh, I am the wrong camera. So this is the black palm, and yet it's like super flexible. As I mentioned before, since this is a not metal plate, there's no gaskets on this plate versus the aluminum one. So I guess we'll take a look at the PCB. But this PCB is like incredibly clean. Like, look at this matte, I guess it's more glossy actually, glossy black PCB. And look at those traces. These traces are super clean. And lastly, it's going to show you all the bottom gasket here. Wow, this is like super soft. Okay, let's take off the middle one. Oof. Okay, so this bottom piece here is just it's just a big wedge essentially. Yeah, it looks really nice though. Really nice wedge. In case it's interesting, where it's only held together by these three posts here. Let's go ahead and install the JST connector / daughter board. This right here. Screw that in a little bit. Okay, so the wedge by itself, well, with the daughter board, is 2.2 pounds, about 109 grams. It's about 562 grams or 1.2 pounds. So the wedge in the top case is about 3.4 pounds or something like that. The next step is to install the stabilizers. Bernhardt, I keep all of my keyboards. It is a lot. My collection right now is, I think it's at least 8. I haven't counted in a while. And because I still have some more coming in. I have a GMK Pro coming in. I have an LCK75 and a Sunsetter. So that's at least 3 more. So I believe I'll be in the double digits now. So these are, we call them V1 Black Inks, the first batch Black Inks, whatever. Like, I bought these off CannonKeys when they first came out. So these have the loose leaf issue where when you disassemble the switch to lubricate them, the leaf could just fall out, and it was a pain in the ass to put them back together. Like, I think half of the switches that had loose leaf issues with me, I had to just throw away because I just couldn't get the leaves back in. But they are the smoothest batch of Gateron Black Inks. So the V2 that you buy these days are not as smooth, unfortunately. So I'm glad I have that going for me. I definitely went on a little bit of a splurge for when I started doing YouTube. My first few videos on my channel, if you go back however many months, they're all just shot on my phone, and I recorded over on a Blue Yeti. And then once I decided, hey, I'm gonna go in on this YouTube thing, when I go in on something, I tend to go in kind of hard. I bought a new camera. I bought a Sony a6600. I bought some lens. I bought like 3 lenses. Should probably connect the PCB first. Nope, I totally had it the wrong way. Alright, luckily I didn't push down too hard. Oops. Now I see why it's called a stack mount. So this is, you're literally stacking things together essentially, right? Or maybe it's supposed to be like that. Okay, nope, that's right. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm glad that you found value in the spring video. That was my main reason for making it. I noticed that no one just had one, so I was like, yeah, let me just buy all these springs and just do it, because springs are honestly like pretty cheap in comparison to switches, keyboards, and keycaps. Oof, I might have over lubed the stabilizer. It feels okay. I'll see. Luckily, with the stabilizer cutout, I can just remove the stab, so that's great. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. I have never built a 10 keyless, and I would say it's really nice where, cause this whole thing is just a 10 keyless keyboard, right? Essentially. So I don't really have to think about what keys I need to grab. Because every time you grab, you fill out like a 65% or whatever, you have to make sure the rows are right, and you gotta like dig through it with all these other keycaps down here. So this is nice. I'm really just kind of like on autopilot here. We have built a 10 keyless Mode 80 keyboard in the Celestial colorway, white top, gold finish. I love it. I messed up the second feet. I'll fix that later. And we have it with GMK Peaches and Creams, with the switches being Gateron Black Inks V1s with 62 grams linear Thic Thock spring. Oh, okay, that was bad. Okay, I'm gonna do that again in a little bit. The space bar is throwing me off. It's not returning as fast because I over lube the wires, the housing, maybe the housing, one of those two. So I'm gonna fix that later, but let me do another typing test. Yeah, my space bar is being weird, but that's okay. What do y'all think about the sound though? It sounds a little muted for me. I don't know. Let's see. I wonder what it sounds like in the recording. This was an interesting experience. I always was curious about trying to stream, but never really pulled the plug. I don't think I'll do another stream anytime soon. I don't know, we'll see. If you guys think I should do a stream, let me know. But my next video would be a short down VOD of this, and then the one after that would be something. I gotta think of something. I do have a backlog, so I'll look at my backlog of ideas. But cool. Have a good night, everyone. Love y'all. Alright, so I have some post-stream updates. First, I managed to get the second rubber foot in. Seems like it naturally decompressed over time, so that's great. Second, I noticed that the right bracket key and the pipe key were really close together. After taking a closer look, I noticed that the plate wasn't pulled up all the way on the switches. It was pushed down towards the middle. So I decided to desolder the entire keyboard, fix the plate alignment, but I was still having issues with those two keys. So that wasn't the issue. At this point, I figured it was due to the Gateron Black Ink switch, as I believe the housing is a tad bigger than regular cherry switches. So I swapped out the right bracket key with a JWK linear, and it fixed the spacing, but not perfectly. It was good enough for me, so I resoldered the board, assembled the keyboard back together, and then noticed another issue. The keycaps on the left side of the keyboard were scraping against the top case, causing a terrible noise. My PCB and plate assembly does slightly arch upwards towards the middle, and I thought this was the issue. However, after applying pressure to the PCB and plate assembly against the top case to ensure that it was perfectly flat, it still had this issue. I had no idea what was wrong. My best guess was that the combination of Gateron Black Inks and the palm plate didn't work well together on this keyboard. However, there was one member on Discord who also had a similar issue with the top right keys with an aluminum plate, and their conclusion was that it was due to a bad plate and poor tolerances. So now I'm thinking that I got a bad plate, and maybe the spacing between the right bracket and pipe key is also because of this. I then decided to finish my build with the hotspot PCB, aluminum plate, and Marshmallow switches. My original plan was to build the hotspot PCB with U4T tactile switches, but I didn't have those lubed yet and didn't feel like getting around to it due to all the issues I was having with this keyboard. And sadly, I'm still having issues with keycaps hitting the top case, this time on the F-row. I'm using the solder PCB version of the plate instead of the plate for the hotspot PCB, but I was told that the plate will still work as long as the plate is properly pulled up onto the switches, which they are. To summarize my overall thoughts about this keyboard, ignoring my build experience for a bit, the presentation and packaging was fantastic, the E-white and anodization looks great, the sound is a bit on the muted side with only the bottom foam, and the tapping experience is a bit on the firm side due to the stack mount design, but it's not super stiff like my Think 6.5 V1. Do I think this keyboard is worth the price? Well, it comes down to preference in the end. If you can appreciate the nice packaging, a tapping experience that's on the firm side but not overly firm, and a sound profile that's a bit muted with only the bottom foam and can be made more muted with the middle foam, then yeah, I think you'll like this TKL. But I wouldn't buy this keyboard again. I really want to like it, but my terrible build experience ruined this keyboard for me. You could definitely say it was due to errors on my part with my first palm plate build, but I am confident that I did everything right on my rebuild and on my hotspot build. I'm going to contact Mode support and see if they have any ideas. Alright, that's everything for me today about the Mode 80. Seems like most folks who built this keyboard had no issues, but if you're going to be building this keyboard, make sure that none of your keycaps are hitting the top case before you solder the PCB. I'll end this video with a typing test with the Marshmallow switches on the aluminum plate. Until next time.